Yo, what is good YouTube? I'm Richie Kim, and today I'm going to be bringing you all the performance review on the Xtep JLin 2. Before we get started, if you all enjoy sneaker content just like this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this. But anyways, let's get right into it. As always, starting off with the traction, the JLin 2 features a full translucent rubber outsole with a bunch of X's, which is, Xtep's logo, scattered throughout the outsole. And if you all are playing on clean courts, you aren't going to have any issues. This rubber is very, very tacky, and on clean courts, this thing bites really, really well. However, if you are playing on any sort of dust, you will run into some issues. This thing does pick up a lot of dust, and it picks up dust really quickly. And on top of that, it's really hard to actually wipe off the dust. So if you're playing on any sort of dust, you'll be sliding around. I never had the problem of, completely slipping out, but I definitely was sliding to stops. And the length of the slide to the stop kind of varied. Sometimes it would be very little, but then other times it'd be a pretty big slide to a stop. So honestly, the traction on here is not that great on dusty courts of any kind. If you're playing on clean courts, you should be fine. And this is the translucent rubber outsole. I'm not sure if the solid rubber outsole performs better, but as it stands right now, that was my experience with the traction. So overall, I would say that the traction is not that great. So moving on to the cushion, the JLin 2 features a full-length Xtep boom cushion setup, and it is partially caged on the lateral side and pretty much fully uncaged on the medial side, as you can see right here. And the cushion setup in here, overall, I would say is pretty damn nice. In the heel, you do have a thick chunk of Xtep boom, and it is partially caged by this heel counter, this external heel counter. But honestly, in the heel, it is extremely bouncy. It feels really, really nice. And you get a lot of impact protection from it. But then as you move towards the, forefoot, it is caged up on the lateral side, but it's uncaged on the medial side. But as you can see, it is fairly thin up in the forefoot. So you're definitely getting more responsiveness and cushion. You do still get a slight bounce, which is really nice though. But you definitely feel that boom cushion setup in the heel way, way more. And in the heel, it's just really, really nice. So if you're looking for, a lot of impact protection, I wouldn't say this has the most, but it is very, very nice and is very bouncy in the heel. So yeah, personally, I really like the cushion setup in here. It is definitely a huge improvement of the cushion setup in the JLin 1. The implementation of the Xtep boom was really good. However, I do wish that it wasn't so caged up in the forefoot area, so you could get a little bit more of that bounce. So moving on to the materials, the JLin 2 features a bunch of different materials. In the toe box area, you do have like this plastic screen mesh with like regular open mesh underneath, and then on top of the screen mesh you actually have this huge layer of fuse. It just pretty much wraps around the entire shoe, and it does offer the shoe a lot more durability. However, I do wish this shoe wasn't so fuse heavy, because it does make the shoe feel a little bit cheap. But in terms of the performance, it does get the job done just fine. As you move towards the midfoot of the shoe, you do have another area of like this plastic screen mesh, and then towards the back you do have like this rubberized mesh over here that pretty much wraps around this whole heel area. Moving towards the tongue, you do have like this open mesh for the tongue as well, and the tongue padding it's not the most padded tongue, but I would say it's just enough to feel comfortable if you do like to crank down your laces. Overall, in terms of the quality of the materials on the JLin 2, I definitely wouldn't say it's the most premium, but in terms of the performance, it does get the job done just fine. I just really wish that this shoe wasn't so fuse heavy. So moving on to the fit, I would say that the JLin 2 does run true to size, but make sure if you are getting this shoe, you go by your Euro size. Do not go by your US size. I didn't have any issues going with my US size, but I've definitely heard issues with the JLin 1 at least, where their US size didn't correctly correspond to the Euro size. So the sizing was just all over the place. So what I'm going with is, just go with your Euro size for the shoe, and then you should be fine. I'm a slightly wide footer and I went true to size and it felt perfectly fine. I didn't feel any pinching pain really on the lateral side of my foot. You can feel maybe just a little bit of pressure coming from this plastic cage right here, especially if you do like crank on your laces pretty hard, but it wasn't like a big deal or anything like that. It was just a little bit of added pressure, and you know, overall it didn't really add any discomfort. Outside of that, I would say that there is a just slight amount of dead space up in the toe box area, but not to the point where it was annoying or bothersome or anything like that. And then moving towards the back, the support is also really nice. You do have like these Achilles pillows built in, and the sculpting in the heel area is also nice. So overall, I would say that the fit in the shoe is really good. If you all are hella wide footers, you might want to go up a half size, because I could see this plastic cage right here being a little bit painful, but best thing to do is, if you can, try them on in stores, but I know, you know, finding an Xtep shoe, at least in the US, is probably going to be damn near impossible. And then, you know, regular footers, narrow footers, I would still suggest you all go true to size. So yeah, overall the fit in the JLin 2 was pretty good for me. I didn't really have any issues. So moving on to the support, I didn't have any issues with the support in the JLin 2. Like I mentioned earlier, you do have an internal heel counter, and you do have this external heel counter as well. You do have adequate heel sculpting and these Achilles pillows. My heel didn't have any heel slippage. My heel was perfectly locked in, no issues whatsoever. In terms of the side-to-side movement on the footbed, I didn't have any issues with that either. This heavy fusion material, you know, definitely keeps you planted on the footbed. And if that wasn't enough, you do have this lateral cage or lateral wings right here, which, you know, kind of wrap over the shoe as you crank your laces more. So it really does lock your foot onto that footbed. In terms of those lateral movements, you have a very wide base, and you do have a lateral outrigger as well, so you are covered. And then in terms of the torsional rigidity and stability, you all can see this. This is a carbon fiber shank plate, and it runs from the forefoot almost to the heel of the shoe, and it forms this X for, you know, obviously Xtep. And yeah, you are covered there as well. This shoe is very stiff. So yeah, overall the support in the JLin 2 was good. I didn't have any issues. So the JLin 2 retails for, I believe, $130, which is the same price as a JLin 1. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, for $130, I would say this is a pretty solid pickup if you are playing on those clean courts. If you are playing on any sort of dust though, you will probably struggle in this shoe just because of the traction issues when it comes to dust. Besides that, you know, that was my only real issue with the shoe, is the traction. Me personally, you know, I play on dustier courts, so I can't really play in this that often, just because yeah, you know, you're sliding everywhere. Overall, I would say that this is an improvement over the JLin 1, but man, this traction issue is kind of a big deal for me. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you guys are playing on clean courts. I didn't get to play with these outdoors, so I don't know how these perform outside. Maybe these perform better just because of like how tacky the rubber is, and, you know, just outdoor courts in general. I would say that, you know, most shoes perform better outdoors than indoors. So you may actually have a better time with these outdoors. That's just something to keep in mind. I didn't get to experience that, so I'm not going to say anything about that. But yeah, you know, if you all wanted to pick up a pair of these, I'll leave a link in the description box down below, and also give you all a coupon code RichieKim10 to get 10% off from Xtep when you purchase the JLin 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this performance review. If you all like this video, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below, and also hit that thumbs up button for me, as it really does help me out. Also hit that bell notification button so you never miss another video just like this. Also check out this video on my left and on my right, and that's pretty much it. Until next time, peace.